Hi guys, it's Will here doing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at Marvel Legends. It's the Cull Obsidian Wave, Black Knight. Oh, I've got a lot to say about this figure really, but I'm gonna try and keep the review short and sweet. First of all, I'm just gonna say when I found out this guy was being released, I lost my mind because he's one of my favorite Avengers really, not because he's like a superhero, but I guess before I was into superheroes, I was more into knights and like warriors and swords and horses and all of that stuff. I used to play Warhammer a lot back in the day. Possibly my favourite Disney film ever was Sword in the Stone, still is to this day. So yeah, like, as much as I love superheroes and everything, my first love was always that sort of sword and sorcery stuff. So yeah, I was amazed when they was making Black Knight, because I think have I said it before? A long time ago, my uncle bought me some Hulk UK comics, and they were black and white, but like the last 10 pages or whatever was always Black Knight stories. And the funny thing, I didn't really like the Hulk as a character. I mean, I've grown to love him since, but I didn't really get what the Hulk was about when I was younger. And I bought them comics to read about Black Knight and his nightly exploit. So, let's just get right into the review. Right, first things first, we're gonna take a look at the packaging. Clearly still got Cull Obsidian's leg in there. I only picked two figures up from this wave, and it was Ant-Man and Black Knight. So I have both Cull Obsidian's legs for whatever reason. And I probably won't end up building him, but yeah. So we're gonna look at the packaging because you guys like that. So it's your basic bog standard Marvel Legends box. It says build a figure Cull Obsidian up here. It has all your, stuff that Hasbro has to put on the box, I guess. And it says Legends series. And it says Avengers. And then it says Marvel's Black Knight. And it also says Marvel there and Hasbro down there. On the side, we have this awesome image of Black Knight. And I think it's exactly the same on that side. Yep, same image. Oh, wait, is it different? No, it's the same. Okay. And on the back, you have a product shot. They always just look like they grab these figures and they quickly move their arms and stuff and then take a photo and then they're done with it, which kind of disappoints me. But then you have more information down here and things. You have a picture of the Build-A-Figure and the figures in the wave. I kind of was wanting Wasp and I was kind of wanting Thor, but I don't really care. Black Knight, he was the only one I really, really wanted. And I wanted Ant-Man, so I had a 6-inch scale Ant-Man, because I got the Giant Man Build-A-Figure before. But just a quick read up. An expert horseman and superior swordsman, Black Knight has a checkered history as a powerful combatant with no clear allegiances. This makes me laugh because, let me get this right. Oh my god. I've literally forgot. Is it Nathan Garrett? I don't think it is Nathan Garrett. I think he was the bad Black Knight. But basically, to give you a quick rundown, Black Knight's original ancestors, I think the first one fought with King George, and he was a good dude. And then someone else took over, and he was sort of a bloodthirsty, evil dude. And then it went on and forth, and people kept tarnishing the reputation of Black Knight. And then we have, I want to say Peter Steinman, but I know that isn't right. Trust me to when I start filming, I forget the guy's name. But, yeah. So, I can't believe that. But, yeah. Move on. I digress, because I don't want to waste much time. So, basically, there's a few versions of Black Knight, but this final one was the one who was, like, heroic. And he helped the Avengers in the Defenders, and he got turned into stone and went back to the 12th century. And he has a really good arc. So if you're interested in your Marvel characters and stuff, I fully suggest you check Black Knight out. Now we're quickly going to look at the accessories quick. So first we'll look at the ebony blade. Done quite nicely. You could say it looks pretty plain, but I mean it's supposed to just be an ebony blade. I imagine that's why they call him Black Knight. But it's nicely done, and it's made of a durable plastic. You know, it doesn't bend around too much. I have heard a lot of people say that when you put it in the holster on the figure, it bends out, but I haven't had that problem. And then quickly, just looking at this head. I mean, I am going to put the heads on at the end for my little posability segment that I always do. But, oh, come on, focus. It's not over focus, but it's a really nice head sculpt, and the head's actually sculpted on there, and the helmet's a separate piece. So they really did a good job with that, and it makes the figure look so much better in person. It's the same with the head sculpt he has on at the minute as well. They're both separate pieces on the front. And you don't have to worry about the ears on this one and the little beard on this, because they're made out of a durable plastic. But this is like your original Black Knight head sculpt. So that is pretty menacing. You can see why this guy was thought of as a bad dude. And well, I imagine he did. I watched a Black Panther cartoon and Black Knight was in this. Sir Percy was the first Black Knight. Sir Percy, his name was. And yeah, he's your, bog standard badass knight. But yeah, so I thought I'd just give you a quick look at them, and next we'll get on to the figure. Eek. Sorry about that. So I imagine you're quite well versed with Marvel Legends if you're watching this video. May even collect them like most of us. But yeah, the articulation. So he looks up, he looks down, and you get a head pivot with this figure as well, which you don't always get with Marvel Legends, but I appreciate when they do. Also, the pins on the cape fall down really nicely on this figure. It doesn't haw. Doesn't haw. Right. Ignore that, because that was bad. Let me just restart. It's not always the case on Marvel Legends that happens. It can look a bit shoddy sometimes, but I think they did right on this figure. So you can get his arms up. And mine's only going like that at the minute because it's kind of stiff. But I have seen people get up further than that. If you want to force it, you can do that. I'm not going to, because I don't want to break my figure. He has your double jointed elbows that are hindered a little bit by the gloves, and then your swivel and your hinge on the wrists. And then you have your thigh cut, your waist cut. This belt cloth thing doesn't really get in the way of the articulation, so that's pretty good. You have your double jointed knees, and then your boot cut swivel, and then your ankle pivot. So pretty much what you expect from a Marvel Legend. A lot of people say they don't like this chainmail mold because it cuts up the articulation and stuff. I haven't had that problem, so I don't know. Maybe it's a QC issue for some people. Not for me though. As well, none of my figures really loose. None of it's loose at all. The ab crunch is a tiny little bit loose, but nothing too much to worry about. It never falls out of place when I'm trying to pose him or get any photos of him or anything. Okay, so next we're going to do posability, which is always my favourite part of my videos. But this is what I would say is your definitive stance for your Black Knight figure. And it is worth mentioning that he can hold his sword with two hands. I've had problems with other figures in the past where that just does not work as well. Especially on Black Series figures from Hasbro. Not so much on Marvel Legends, but you buy a Black Series figure, and with some of them you kind of expect them to be able to hold a lightsaber in two hands, but they just can't do it. I digress. On to Marvel Legends. So this is your definitive Black Knight pose, and eventually when I get a bigger area Do you know, I'm going to have him on my Avengers shelf, probably like this. Because, I mean, this is definitively what Black Knight looks like. But I think I said, when I did my figure collection, I said when I came to this figure that it was probably the best Marvel Legend that's been released in a long time, purely because of how much you get with it. It might not seem that way now I'm reviewing it, but it's essentially just like, if you have other figures, then, you know, your posability, the style, how you display the figure, it's limitless. So I'm just going to show you a few things like that now. Right, so first thing first, trying out my favourite head sculpt, which is Percy, is also my favourite iteration of the Black Knight. Now, this works fine. Also, you can take the cape off as well, and he looks just as menacing like this, but it doesn't look great with the cape on, the blue cape on, because like Sir Percy had like a long red flowing cape. So what you do to remedy that in this situation is, if you have certain Thor figures, for instance for me, like I have the Lady Thor figure, so you just take the figure from Lady Thor, come on, and you put that on there, and then that instantly just makes the figure look so much better, with a red cape. I mean, this is what Sir Percy looked like the majority of the time. So, for instance, I've had him displayed like this, and this is why I think this is one of the best Marvel Legends you can get. I've just been posing this and displaying it completely differently week to week. Just keep changing it, because he just looks good in so many different ways. So, yeah, that cape really makes that, and then you just want to pop that head off. The heads come off really easy on this figure, by the way, which it's not the case on all of them. Right, so the same thing here as well, is you can put this one on, and it looks pretty good on him with this red cape, do you know? For pictures and stuff. This head sculpt, I mentioned I played Warhammer a lot when I was younger, reminds me of Tyrion. Like, I was a big High Elf fan, so, and that reminds me of Tyrion. The other thing you can do is, you know, to if you wanted to change it up again, make it look different, if you got the Taskmaster cape, so if you got Taskmaster from the first Infinity War wave, you can whack that cape on, and it sits quite nicely. I'm not a fan of the orange, but it does sit quite nicely on there, and then it's up to you. You can, you know, sort of have that head on, and it looks alright. But then, personally, again, I think it looks better with a Sir Percy head, as you can see there. I think that looks better. Or if you want to do it this way, obviously it's completely up to you how you display the figure. It does look good with a blue cape on in any way you have it, but you know, I don't know. Just my Black Knight had a red cape, so you know. So this is like a custom. I got it off a Lord of the Rings Gandalf figure. So this is just a custom white cape that you can throw over there. There's obviously no pin on the back to hold it in place, but you can throw that on there, and that also looks really, really nice. So I mean, I haven't decided I'm going to pose this figure yet. It looks good in so many different ways, but definitely a must get if you're a Marvel Legends fan. It's definitely a figure you should own. You know, loads of fun just posing this dude around, getting him in all different sort of fighting styles and things. He looks pretty menacing. I did a funny little skit with Darth Vader for some guys on the group. There's Black Knight. That was pretty funny, but yeah, definitely a must-get figure. And you've seen everything I wanted to say about this figure now. I realise this figure's kind of old, and I've had it a long time. but nevertheless, it's still one of my favourites. So I really felt the need to get this video out there. But there you go, guys. That's going to be my review for today. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Only if you're into it. Got a bizarre message from someone the other day, and they was like, why do you play with toys? And I was just like, well, why don't you go ask anyone who does what I do, because I'm not the only one. There's thousands of us, literally. I'm not just some weirdo who never grew up. Lots of us do it. So yeah, it's completely baffled me. I'm not going to name and shame that person, but really, really strange on your part, I must say. Just send me a random message like that. But that'll do it, guys. So I am going to be doing another review of a figure soon. Do I have his box about anywhere? Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's from the new Deadpool wave. So I'll be reviewing that figure over the next couple of days. I'm going to try and do 2 reviews a week with me working and everything. But there you go, guys. That'll do it. Go buy this figure because it's bloody brilliant. Bye.